2日間にわたってお送りしているウィークリーキャッチ年末スペシャル後編も引き続きアメリカ ABC ニュースの記者とともに今年の重大ニュースを振り返ります。お話を伺うのは ABC 若手記者のエーストレバー・オルトさん。 ABC のワシントン支局やニューヨーク本社、そして全米各地の現場からさまざまなニュースを伝えてきました。ウィークリーキャッチスペシャル後編はアメリカの政界にフォーカスを当て、2019年話題を独占した大統領弾劾騒動、そしていよいよ来年本番を迎える大統領選について語ってもらいます。トランプ大統領が来年の大統領選挙の民主党有力候補ジョー・バイデン前副大統領の捜査をするようウクライナに圧力をかけた疑惑、いわゆるウクライナ疑惑が浮上。軍事支援金4億ドルやホワイトハウスでの首脳会談を捜査の交換条件として利用したことも発覚し、民主党多数の議会下院はトランプ氏の弾劾に向け大きく舵を切りました。
The actions taken to date by the President have seriously violated the Constitution. Therefore, today, I'm announcing the House of Representatives moving forward with an official impeachment inquiry.
下院は関係者などの証言に基づく弾劾調査を進め、今月18日の本会議でトランプ大統領を自身の利益のために外交を利用した権力の乱用、そして弾劾調査への協力を拒んだ議会の妨害の2つの条項において賛成多数で弾劾訴追しました。アメリカの大統領が弾劾訴追されるのは1868年のアンドリュー・ジョンソン大統領、1998年のビル・クリントン大統領に続き史上3人目です。ワシントンから弾劾の動きを報じたトレバーさんは騒動をどう見たのでしょうか。
I'll use an umbrella of ongoing investigations and scandals involving President Trump. Right now, we're in the middle of this historic impeachment proceedings. But also in 2019, we saw the conclusion of the Mueller investigation. We saw the years-long investigation, the Mueller report, come to its conclusion in April, in which it was determined that President Trump did not collude with Russia in the 2016 investigation, but it didn't make a determination as to whether or not he obstructed justice in that investigation. And then impeachment starts up with the president accused of withholding military aid to the country of Ukraine in order to force them to investigate Joe Biden, his political rival, and possibly who he will be facing in the next election. So what we saw was the conclusion of one investigation into our previous election, and then we saw this new one spark up going into the next election of a president accused of abusing his power. What I think is striking is that through all of it, and there has been many revelations and new evidence, we have seen very few people change their minds. People saying that, well, maybe President Trump did do some of these things that I don't necessarily agree with, but overall I think he's doing a good job, so I think it's being overblown. I think it's the fact that it's such a political rivalry, and the sparring between the two political parties has really gotten so ugly that I think it's very easy to dismiss the points of the other side.
This whole impeachment process, it's not going to go through the Senate, and everybody knows that. Why are they still going on with it?
下院が弾劾訴追を決め、今後の舞台は上院の弾劾裁判に移ります。裁判の後の採決で議員の3分の2の賛成が得られた場合、正式に大統領が罷免されます。しかし民主党多数の下院と違い、与党共和党が多数を占める上院では大統領罷免に至る可能性は極めて低いと言われています。
Well, there's a few reasons. I think that there are some that believe maybe the Senate would go along with it. I don't think that's likely, and I don't think anyone is deluding themselves into believing that it probably will happen. But I think some people say they have to try. I think a lot of members of Congress sort of feel that this is not necessarily about politics. They view it as their constitutional duty to the country. That even if it does not end with President Trump being removed, they think impeachment is not something that you do as a strategy. They think you do it as doing your duty. And they feel that the president has acted in a way that is an abuse of power and deserves to go through the impeachment process. I think you are correct in that it will likely just go along party lines. It will go through the House. The Senate will hold its own trial, and that will also likely go along party lines. But I think that, yeah, for some people, this is about a sense of doing what is right, not necessarily doing what is good for their party.
Well, this whole Ukraine thing started out with Vice President Biden and his son.
バイデン氏が副大統領としてウクライナとの外交にも関わっていた当時、息子のハンター氏はウクライナの会社の役員を務めていました。この会社に有利になるようバイデン氏が政治を利用したいわゆる利益相反の疑いをトランプ氏は主張していて、これがウクライナ疑惑の発端になっています。
Do you think it's going to hurt him or help him or
Vice President Biden?
In his campaign?
So far, it hasn't really hurt him. And I think that part of that is because President Trump is so staunchly against what happened with his son Hunter in Ukraine. None of the other Democrats who are running against Joe Biden are going to want to appear to agree with President Trump. And so we've seen at debates with all of these Democrats, when it is brought up, other candidates sort of very quickly say, I stand with former Vice President Biden, and then move on. How it would stand if Joe Biden gets the nomination and then has to go against President Trump would remain to be seen. It could, because it would be what President Trump refers to as the swamp of American politicians sort of helping out their families. But it's also, President Trump has his daughter at the White House. He has his son-in-law at the White House. He has his son, Donald Trump Jr., just wrote a book, and they promoted it from the official White House Twitter account. So I'm not 100% sure that going after helping out your family, make some money off of your position in the White House is something that would sway a lot of voters, because President Trump appears to be dipping into that arena himself.
Okay.
そして話は大統領選へ。
The election.
Yes.
Who's going to win?
That's a great question for a number of reasons. Number one, because anything can happen. And number two, there's a lot of people that want to be president in the United States right now.
トランプ氏が指名を確実にしている共和党に対し、民主党は未だ15人の候補者が乱立する混戦模様です。その民主党の選挙戦、トレバーさんの見解を伺いました。
It's sort of unpredictable and we're hearing a lot, because I do get out on the road a lot to go to debates, and I'm from the middle of the country. I'm from Ohio, which is a swing state that voted for President Trump in 2016, and so I sort of like to just check in with voters to see how they feel. And overwhelmingly, what we're hearing is people are tired of the race already.
Wow.
And it's not even the year of the election. Or people who say it's time for the Democrats, they need to just get it down to one so that we can support them versus President Trump.
Do you have an eye on someone who you think is interesting?
Yes,
Not necessarily may win,
question.
but
Of just who I think it is interesting. Well, we've seen a surge of Mayor Pete Buttigieg.
インディアナ州サウスベンド市長のピート・ブティジェッジ氏は37歳と若く、同性愛者でもあることから保守層の支持を集めにくいと言われていました。しかし先月、保守派の地盤で接戦州の一つアイオワ州で支持率トップになり、現在有力候補の一人として期待を集めています。
Mainly, it would seem, after he also took a sort of centrist route. I think what we are watching, and this essentially the voters that I talk to, there's two strains of thought within the Democratic Party. There is one portion of the party that says we should just get behind Joe Biden or Mayor Pete Buttigieg, the centrists. We need to appeal to the middle of the country who we lost in 2016. That's the safest way in order to beat President Trump. And the other side of the Democratic Party says we can't just run somebody who we think the middle of the country will vote for, because people won't show up. We need to give big policies and big procedures, and in some cases systemic overhauls, and reasons that people will want to go out and vote, because that will be a big enough draw to defeat President Trump. And right now, it's a very big push and pull between the Democratic Party, where they can't seem to decide what is the best way to possibly defeat President Trump. I think the race is going to get whittled down to likely just the four that we've seen at the top of Vice President Biden, Mayor Pete Buttigieg, Senator Elizabeth Warren, and Senator Bernie Sanders. And that will be sort of a 2-on-2 centrist versus aggressive progressive.
Right.
And I'm not sure who's going to win out, but it's sort of a fight for the heart of the Democratic Party.
I see. Okay. How about Bloomberg?
Bloomberg is interesting because...
Do you think he has a chance?
Possibly. I think he might have a difficult time in the Democratic primary.
すでに民主党の候補者選びが本格化し始めた11月下旬、起業家で富豪のマイケル・ブルームバーグ前ニューヨーク市長が立候補を表明しました。選挙キャンペーンの費用を自ら賄う並外れた資金力や話題性で選挙戦の流れを変える存在になるのか注目されています。
While I do think he appeals to the middle of the country and a lot of independents, the fact that he was a Republican for some time of his term in New York City, what I think he has to fight against is it's not a tremendous time in the country, and specifically in the Democratic Party, to be a billionaire.
Right.
There's a lot of people that are not pleased with that. And you hear a billionaire who's funding his own campaign, and they say, oh, we have a billionaire in the White House right now. We don't necessarily like that. So that's something that Mayor Bloomberg could very well face an uphill battle. I think he would be very interesting to get on the debate stages. But the problem is, in order to qualify for the debate, you need 200,000 individual donors. And Michael Bloomberg has one donor. His name's Michael Bloomberg. So that could be difficult in its own way too. Yes.
I see.
最後に私が気になった質問を聞いてみました。
There's an obvious tension between the media and the White House. What do you feel about that? How do you cope with it?
It's not a tremendously popular time to be a journalist in the United States. A lot of the president's supporters, and honestly, a lot of the far left also, and some Democrats aren't thrilled with the media either. And in some cases, there might be merit to that. I welcome. What I like about, if there's any sunny side to what has been a very tumultuous discourse in the United States, is I like that a lot of the American public is getting involved. I like that a lot of the American public, much more so than a decade ago, seems to really be trying to read in. And I think that people trying to hold their journalists accountable is good. Does it mean that I get a lot of hate mail? Yes. I'm not crazy about that.
Right.
But it's another reminder that as a journalist, your work needs to be airtight. It can't have an ounce of bias. It needs to be objective. It needs to be fair. It needs to cut through, but it also needs to be hard-hitting. I do really believe that decades down the line, we will look back at this time as sort of a golden age of journalism.
If you were to express this year, 2019 in one word,
that's a great question, and I asked a lot of people around the room. I think the word I'm going to choose is relentless. This was a year that, from the start, put its foot on the gas pedal, and it did not let up from January to December. And that was the case with the large-scale stories of we ended the Mueller investigation in Russia, and then immediately we went into impeachment afterwards. We saw a continuous a rise of the stock market, but also continued growth and inequality in the United States. We had more mass shootings in the country. It could be difficult at times in this year to find a moment to really catch your breath. 2019 was just a lot to take on, and I'm sure that 2020 is probably going to be the same way.
現場の報道記者の目から見た2019年いかがでしたでしょうか。ウィークリーキャッチ2020年は1月9日からの予定です。 どうぞ良いお年をお迎えください。